Satisfy your need for happiness through your own curiosity with the Ranveer Show. What's the worst accident case that you've seen, which was surgically also the most challenging, but also the most horrific?
Well, in Sion Hospital, we addressed a lot of trauma. And for me, that one experience that comes to my mind is that I had recently qualified as an orthopedic surgeon. And there was this house collapse that had happened in Allahbadia.
Like a building had
A
collapsed.
building had collapsed. And for some reason, Sion was the go-to trauma center. Despite Nair and JJ hospitals being closer, somehow the call came to us. And we were told that there's a man who's entrapped deep within the debris there, gasping for breath, and his limb is stuck there.
One limb.
One limb is stuck in the debris. And the collapse is still continuing to happen.
What does that mean?
The building has collapsed, but there are insecure elements which are still falling. All right? What do I recollect? I recollect as the orthopedic trauma senior most person going with one junior and one anesthesiologist by an ambulance in a corridor which was created by the Mumbai police to reach Allahbadia and salvage this man at any cost. That's all that I knew. Can you guess what I had to do?
You went inside the debris?
Yes.
Did you operate?
Sir, with due respects, what we had to do there was actually disconnect this man, a part of his limb which was entrapped there, tie what we call a tourniquet on his thigh so that the bleeding doesn't continue, and then transport him in 18 minutes in the middle of the night to Sion Hospital and start the surgical procedure of salvaging the rest of the human body.
But the surgery actually began at the accident site.
Absolutely. So this was the most challenging thing that I have faced in my entire medical and orthopedic career, where I was a part of the team. The anesthesiologist gave him a mild sleeping medication for the period during which I tied this on his thigh, disconnected him with the debris deep within, risking the life of the lady anesthetist and my partner and myself, got this gentleman out, put him into our ambulance, and through that same safe corridor, which is now popularized for organ transfer, which we didn't have at that time, organ transplantation, the police created a corridor by which from Allahbadia to Sion Hospital, we made it in 18 minutes. This tourniquet, which stops the bleeding, can be kept for a maximum of about 1 hour.
What is a tourniquet?
A tourniquet is a tight rubber band which goes around the thigh and prevents the blood flow.
Did you amputate?
Yes, sir. I disconnected the live portion from the part that was entrapped. At the Allahbadia place.
Was he given anesthesia?
Yes, by anesthesiologist.
Okay, wow.
So it's something which happens to be probably the only type of surgery that I've done, but it's something that shook me up and something that for the first time convinced me that we as doctors can at the most be godly, never God. And that's where I am today.
Why did it shake you up?
It brings you down to reality. We claim that we can save anything, we can do everything, we can improve quality of life. We probably can only do our best. And there are some things which are beyond us, which we need to accept, both as patients and as doctors.
Because your own life was also at risk.
Absolutely.
Very close.
I was willing to risk that. I was happy doing that.
So while the building is kind of collapsing around you, you have to also put in some hyper-focus mode, focus on that leg.
Yeah.
So that you don't do anything wrong in the surgery, which has already begun in the middle of a falling building.
Yeah.
how do you divide your brain function into this part of it will be for self-defense, this part of it will be for my work? Are you thinking at all about self-defense?
No.
It's 100% of your brain is on work.
Only on my work and the clock which is ticking.
Why? Because of bleeding.
Because of the fact that once I put the tourniquet there,
There's a timer.
there's a time.
Damn. If that happened in 2023, if the same thing happens in 2023, what's different?
I would hope there would never be such a house collapse. But if there would be, disaster planning is better sort of prioritized today. They would be picked up quicker. They would be transported to a nearer destination. And both the life of the person doing the rescue and the one rescued would be at lesser risk.
What happens after surgery or after an incident like this?
It convinces you that you are human. It convinces you that there is a larger belief system that you have to believe in. It reduces your fear and increases your faith.
Fear of what? Morbidity.
People fear only two things in this world. They fear death and they fear the unknown. For me, I mean, it's very common for people to say that in a difficult situation, what do you do when you're in a fearful situation? You first freeze, then you either fight or you flight, correct? But for me, fear is only an acronym. It's false evidence appearing real. And you could either fight and face it, or you could freeze, flight and run away.
Did you ever cry after a surgery? Thank God that's done.
I'm waiting to cry.
Like it's there, something is built up inside you.
I'm waiting to cry because I believe that the day I can shed tears, I would feel lighter.
Don't you think that's societal conditioning a little bit?
It is. It is.
Do people ask you these questions usually at social functions?
No, they don't.
Because it's too morbid.
Absolutely.
In the average person's eye.
Absolutely.
Do doctors ask you these questions?
No, sir.
Why?
Because none of them think as deeply, at least in society or in the open.
You mean in the hospital they go into a doctor mode?
Probably.
Okay.
May I interject here?
Sure, sir.
I ask these questions to myself very often.
See, I'll tell you my reason for asking you these questions is because I'm really enjoying talking to the surgeons we're having on the show. I just think it's a very strange life when you truly look at the human element of it, to cut up someone's body, alter it for a better future reality of that person. Like they say that the earliest records of surgery are found in India by Sushrut, I believe, was the name of the historical figure.
Yes.
But my reason for bringing up Sushrut is not just national pride and celebrating Indian culture. It's to think of the reality before Sushrut first did his surgical procedures. At that time, there was no such thing as surgery. So Sushrut as a young guy would look at another ill person and say, what if I cut up that person's body, go inside, change certain things, patch it up, and then see what happens. Like you need to be a little whacked out to like think like that.
Absolutely.
Which is what makes me think that extremely experienced surgeons like you, and I'm saying this as a compliment, so please don't mind the words, but are a little whacked out. In the same way that I admire openers and goalkeepers in sports, I admire surgeons like yourself. That it's a little crazy. Even my job has made me a little crazy to get to talk to you today and they get to talk to a military vet tomorrow and then an opener and a goalkeeper day after. So my personality has changed so much because of the show. I always want to know about the personality changes that you guys face by cutting up human bodies, seeing that much blood, that much trauma for like a living. So it's fun talking to you guys.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out these curated playlists that we've made especially for you related to the subject that was spoken about in this clip.